What's up, party people? Let me lower this some. What's up, party people? How's everybody doing? I'm hoping everybody's having a beautiful day. We actually have a lot to talk about, but not really. So for everybody to be clear, currently on the stand, there's like another forensic guy on the stand, another one of the agents that went through a lot of the text messages and the videos of the evidence, I guess, the prosecution intends to use in this particular case. They then charted the video, they charted the evidence, they charted everything. They're on to stand right now speaking. They're about to go into a break. I came out early because basically a lot of the things that's being spoken about have already been spoken about with a different agent also. But I want to go through a couple of things with y'all real quick. I want to be clear about a couple of things real quick. And I want to also, just so we can be clear, break down, or at least so there's another individual that's in the court. I'm not sure if he's a lawyer or a journalist, but there's another individual in the court, and we were having a discussion on the Mann Act. And one of the things that he explained about the Mann Act, or at least the way Cornell University explains the Mann Act, is somebody needs to be profiting off of the Mann Act. And he's saying in this particular case that Sean Combs, nobody is profiting in these particular situations that Sean Combs is doing. I tried to point out maybe the drug dealer is, but I don't think that falls in line with it, just so we can be clear. But also, the hotels are profiting, the airlines are profiting. But the point is, nobody that's involved in the current conspiracy, or the conspiracy that the government is saying is in play, is profiting. So therefore, the Mann Act might not be applicable. I just want to be clear on this. I don't know if the Mann Act can be used in this particular situation. Also, as we've just found out, there has been a situation that's coming out about Fat Joe. If y'all want to get involved in that, that might be the next case that we might cover, but that's a couple of months to maybe a year or two off from now. We got to see how that works. Let me get my book real quick. Then we're going to have these conversations. I want to wear a cardigan today, but I couldn't find my cardigan this morning, so it is what it is. I don't like having the orange and the red. It is what it is. In any regard, I'm gonna go over a little bit a little bit of my notes, and then I'll go off, and then I'll go into some of the things that's happening, and I'll explain my notes, obviously. So currently, right now, the prosecution is showing evidence of the flights that Combs has been having with Jane, specifically Jane Doe, that they were speaking about, a guy named Paul. At least this is how the day started. And those flights that has to deal with Combs and Paul, and they're lining up the dates. Because remember, these people are not in the same cities, and they're having these flights going to the same cities. And then the way that they're being able to say that they're in these cities doing these things is by saying they flew to these cities, and we have the hotel, and we have the flight records, and we have the hotel records. And this is how we know that these individuals are going to these places to do these things together. At least that is what the prosecution is saying, because in a lot of these instances, there is no actual proof that they're there together, except, just so we could be clear, the video that they've been showing. So they've been showing a lot of video. We haven't been able to see it, obviously, because this video is of sexual encounters, and they don't do porns in the courtroom. I don't think they're gonna be doing the pornos in the courtrooms, fam. So, as the prosecution, the attorneys and the witness, and the attorneys and the witnesses, and are being privy to these videos, and the jury, us, the people in the gallery, peanut galleries, we're not privy to these videos, just so we can be clear. So the first thing that they did was they showed that there was evidence of the flights, and with Combs, Jane Doe, and Paul. And then there was the text messages that they also show that corroborate these flights having to deal with these days that they were showing that they were coordinating with one another in order to make sure that each other was on the flights and each other's was, and they were headed to where these rendezvous were supposed to be happening, just so we can be clear. And so there was something that was interesting that happened particularly, and I want to mention this, and I'm gonna sit on this for a second. So there was something that happened particularly that I found to be very interesting, and that is that they have multiple videos, just so we can be clear, with Jane Doe, and this was, they have the witness on the stand, and the witness is basically talking about the videos that he had to watch that, you know, that they have in order for him to be able to testify, and in order for him to be able to create, how do you say, the diagrams that he's been creating, that they're showing to the, they're showing us some of them, but they're showing this to the jury that he was able to create in order to be able to say that this happened when this happened when this happened. And the thing that I find interesting is the prosecution wanted to point out that they're showing these videos, and then basically all of the videos that they're talking about in this little segment of the testimony, it has Jane Doe, and just Jane Doe, she's the only woman, and there's multiple men, but there's also always apparently Cabral and Combs. And I think that and I'm not sure, obviously it is what it is, but the reason in which why I would think they would want to be doing this is because they're trying to show the dichotomy between that Sean Combs is not just complicit, but he's also a participator in these events. Now, once again, and this is the main thing that I'm trying to explain, at least the perspective that I think that the prosecution is coming from. Obviously, I'm not on no sides of anything, just so we can be clear. But the perspective that I believe that the prosecution is trying to come from is that the person who is being trafficked is the woman, Jane Doe. She's the one that's being trafficked. Cassie, she's the one that's being trafficked in these situations and in these instances. So by them having these videos where you have Sean Combs in the room, I'm not even sure if Sean Combs is actually involved in the sexual activities, just so we can be clear. They haven't, you know, broken that down. And I'm gonna get into why he would be complicit in all of this in 1 second. But they haven't broken any of that down. They're just trying to say that he's in the room along with Cabral. Is that I believe they're trying to say that Jane Doe was trafficked. And what I think also hints to that is they're also talking about the text messages where Jane Doe speaks about how this is not something that she wants to do. Now, with that being said, she goes back and forth on this. There's multiple times where she'll be like, she doesn't want to be a part of these particular activities. And then there's other instances where she's like, she can't live without him. So they're going back and forth on this. But once again, these individuals, they are drug addicts, and Combs included. So I don't know I don't know from what perspective we want to take this, but these people have drug problems, obvious drug problems. So when somebody has an obvious drug problem, don't be surprised when they flip-flop. Don't be surprised when, in one perspective, they're saying yes, yes, yes. You know, a whole nother perspective, they're saying no, no, no. Don't be surprised that when this is a thing, we're talking about people who are admitting to having a drug problem, who are admitting to going on multiple day sex benders where they're using drugs in order to stay awake, lubricated, and everything else, and in the mood. So these people are, you know, people are admitting to having a drug problem. So I don't know the perspective that we should actually take when we're speaking about how somebody is agreeing to something one moment, and in the next moment they're talking about they don't want to be a part of it. I don't really know the perspective that we want to take on that. It could be, I'm gonna move over some. It's like, what are you doing? Hey. It's like, what are you doing? People are weird, yo. In any regard, also, they show records of it's too hot for what, fam? Just so we could be clear, I'm not even sweating at all. So it might be too hot for other people, but I'm a cool mofo. I don't know what you're talking about. No sweats at all. Look, so I'm pretty sure I'm not too hot. Shout out to Walt Liquor. Anyway, oh, it's too hot for this going on? I don't know what it's too hot for. Put it in the chat. In any regard, they show records of Sean Combs' American Express paying for the hotel fares again. And once again, what they've done is, the prosecution is, they're trying to nail something home. So they have multiple witnesses get on the stand saying the same exact thing. Just so we can be clear, there's multiple witnesses saying the same exact thing. They have multiple forensic people getting on the stand saying the same exact thing. So the thing that they're harping on right now, just so we can be clear, is the American Express card of Sean Combs paying for hotels and airfare, and then on top of them paying for the hotel and airfare, then the bank account from Bad Boy then paying off the credit card. I think that this is how they're trying to create like the RICO situation. I'm not 100% sure, but this is what it sounds like they're trying to go, the avenue that they're trying to go down. Also, I want to add, there is a Jessica Ruiz who was also paying for some of these things using her Amex card, paying for the trips. She's part of CO LLC, something like that. So she's also been paying for some of these airfares, some of these hotel rooms. Also, they're saying that Jane also paid with her visa for some of these escapades. And they also showed that there was a wire transfer to Jane from Combs. So Jane might be, what I believe is the narrative is that Jane, when she pays, Combs is paying her back, giving her back the money. And I think that, I'm not sure, but it sounds to me more like this helps Diddy, showing that she is desperate to be a part of these particular situations, and then Diddy is paying her back. That's what it sounds like. So I'm not sure, once again, how much Jane Doe's testimony actually helped the prosecution, and I'm not sure how much anything involving her helps the prosecution. Everything involving Jane Doe from now that I see actually helps Diddy's situation. Why is everybody is just coming as close as possible to me to have their conversations? I have no fucking idea. Like, I don't get this. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I don't get it at all. It's like they're in good spots. Like, I'm looking around, they're in good spots. And they're just leaving their good spots to come closer to me. I don't get it at all. In any regard, so once again, I don't know how Jane Doe in any way, that lady's crazy. I don't know how Jane Doe in any way, shape, or form is helping the prosecution's case, as at least her testimony, because once again, it seems more and more like she was complicit. It seems more and more like if there is a RICO case, that they could have just held her up on charges just as easy as they're holding Sean Combs up on charges. The same thing could be said for Cassie. Cassie could also be brought up on charges just as easy as Sean Combs is brought up on charges, because there could be an argument made that none of this can be possible if not for Cassie, if not for Sean Combs, if not for Cassie, if not for her wanting to be or wanting to be involved in these situations, if not for Jane Doe wanting to be involved in these situations. Because once again, I haven't really seen any instances where they're saying that there were multiple women. It just seems like in every one of these instances that it's just Jane Doe's the only woman. I think Cassie did have an incident that they were speaking about where it sounded like there could have been multiple females there, but it just, the way it comes off to me is is that these individuals are just as much as part of a crime. I think the prosecution hurt themselves by not first charging these women and then saying we're going to drop the charges if you testify. I think that would have helped the RICO case more. I think that this is something for them to learn from if there is a not guilty verdict found. But once again, I think that these people are being shown to be complicit in the crimes, and the fact that they weren't charged at all, not even a little bit, I think that that actually helps Combs. This is crazy that this lady just stood right here to have this conversation and try to, this is fucking bananas. Like, this is the type of shit. I'm gonna move over there soon. People are fucking bananas. I don't know, like somebody paying her? And that means I gotta move closer to that guy. So I'm gonna be in that guy's way. I don't wanna move over there and be in that guy's way. So I'll stay where I'm at. Sheesh. This is bananas. Bananas. In any regard, I just think it would have helped, and this is just my opinion, obviously, but I think it would have helped the prosecution's case if the prosecution would have just flat out charged them, and then after charging them, would have said, you have to testify, and then made it known on the stand that the only reason why they're testifying is because, you know, because they're part of the conspiracy. Shit is crazy. Shit is crazy. Shit is crazy. You forgot my name in the middle of Harlem, standing in the middle of the street. We're gonna stop doing the lives out here, and I think I'm just gonna start giving y'all live at home. This asshole came and got her riled up. She was over there minding her business, and this dude just came over and got her riled up. I tell you, the mental health problems is bananas out here. Fucking bananas.
That's why you forgot. Because you told me, wait, and I'm standing there like this because you were alpha.
The mental health problems is bananas out here, fam. Bananas. I don't even know who to be friendly with. I'm just being honest with you. I don't even know who to be friendly with out here. So I'm basically talking to like 0 people for the most part. I don't know who to be friendly with out here.
See what I got on? I'm trying to work out.
Mental health problems, bananas out here, man. Like, absolutely insane. Why did he come and get her riled up? Why? What the fuck? This is crazy. You with mental health problems. This shit is bananas, fam. Sheesh. Shit is bananas. And that lady, I'm just gonna let y'all understand, that lady just yells at people all day. She just yells at people. I don't know why anybody talks to her. And this lady over here, the one that's over here that came and started talking, she just filming me. These people are crazy out here, man. Absolutely bananas, I promise you. Bananas. I don't know who to be friendly with or nothing. So I don't talk to nobody. I don't talk to nobody. Anyway, let's get back to what we just bananas, fam. Somebody need to tell her, ain't no alpha male gonna talk to her in no capacity. All alpha males is gonna avoid her. Somebody need to tell her the only person she talks to is betas and simps. Somebody need to let her know. I don't think she knows. I don't think she knows. No alpha male is gonna say hi to her or deal with her in any capacity of what, maybe say hi, but gonna keep it pushing. Who the fuck wanna deal with that? Anyway, said it's too hot. I'm not even sweating, fam. Not hot at all. We're black. Our body naturally regulates itself. Alright? Never forget that. Our bodies naturally regulates itself. Never forget that. Break is probably about to be over in a minute. All right, so let's get back to the rest of this real quick. Let's get back to the rest of this real quick. Let's get up out of here. Yeah, I wonder why I stay to myself. This is the reason why. People are crazy. They always want an argument and always want to be like the center of attention. I never want to be the center of attention. Ever. I can't help it if sometimes I am. But I never. Sheesh. In any regard. Sheesh, man. There's a reason why I like quiet girls. I like quiet women. There's a reason. I like women that don't talk that much. Don't want to. I like quietness. I will join you in the not talking. I will join you in the be quiet. I promise you. In any regard. So the prosecution is basically lining up, in my opinion. The videos of Jane with multiple men, they showed that to the jury. They wasn't going to show that to us, obviously. Apparently, Combs and Cabral was in all of the videos. At least that was the way that it was it was expressed to us through the witness. Then they showed records of Combs' American Express card paying for the hotel and the airfare. But in addition to Combs' American Express paying for the hotel and the airfare, there's a lady named Jessica Ruiz. She used her Amex card to pay for some of the trips. She's the name of the company that she's a part of is CEOP Co. LLC. She's also been involved in this. And I think they're using this because remember, they're trying to create a RICO situation. I am not saying that I see a RICO. I'm not going to tell you that. I don't necessarily see a RICO. I'm just being honest with you. But the government, I don't think, if you ask me whether the government proved that there's a RICO or not, I'm not sure whether the government proved there's a RICO. If you ask me whether the government proved that a crime has even been committed, I'm not sure if a crime has been committed. We will have to listen to what the judge, the instructions the judge gives the jury. So I'm in the courtroom, and there was a gentleman that said he believes Sean Combs is guilty. What up, Sha Brim? He says he believes that the judge is Combs is guilty. And my argument to him is, you haven't heard the instructions that the judge has given the jury yet. How can you believe anybody to be innocent or anybody to be guilty? The judge is going to give, for anybody that's never been inside of a courtroom, after the prosecution rests their case, the defense rests their case, the judge sends the case to the jury. And the judge, what's up, my brother? And the judge gives instructions to the jury. Unless you know what those instructions are that the judge gives to the jury, you can't even decide whether a person is innocent and or guilty, because even though you've heard the testimony, you haven't been given the barometer that it's supposed to be held up to. If that makes any sense. You don't know the weight that you're supposed to give this evidence, or the weight, what up, Rue? Salute. Or the weight that you're supposed to give that evidence. You don't even know yet. The judge hasn't given the jury any instructions. The judge tells you exactly how you're supposed to handle the evidence after everybody has closed their case. So in no way, shape, or form, if you are non-biased, you should have an opinion on whether anybody is guilty or innocent, because you don't even know the parameters that's supposed to be used yet in order to be able to find guilt and or innocence, if that makes any sense. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't know if the prosecution has proven their case. And I just want to be honest with you. It just sounds at this point like these guys was just into some extracurricular sexual acts. And until you tell me that Jane Doe and Cassie didn't do these things and you could prove it, or you tell me that Jane Doe and Cassie were part of the criminal conspiracy, I'm not even sure how we should accept this evidence. So I need to hear the instructions that the judge gives the jury in order for me to even decide which way this should or shouldn't go. And that's the problem when you got these people that don't know anything about court, covering court cases. They don't have the slightest idea. They don't have this, like, all due respect. You know, this is no disrespect intended. With all due respect. I look like I know that guy. They don't have the slightest idea about how the case is supposed to be handled. Just so we can be clear. You got people going into the courtroom deciding based on their emotional opinion, not even their opinion, over fact. And I think that that's dangerous. And not just in this case, but in any case. When you have people deciding whatever side could emotionally manipulate them better, they're going to be the winner. You know, fuck the facts. Forget the instructions from the judge. Whoever can make me feel the happiest or the saddest about whatever this situation is, they the winners. I think that's dangerous. I think that's how you end up with a lot of people in prison who are innocent. And I think that's how you end up with a lot of people out here on the streets who are guilty. So I have no opinion at all on the guilt and or innocence of anybody involved in this. But I do think that the prosecution missed when they didn't have Cassie and when they didn't have Jane Doe initially as co-conspirators. I think initially they should have been co-conspirators, because I think if they're initially co-conspirators, I think that adds weight and that adds gravity to the prosecution's case. But the fact that they were never made co-conspirators officially and then said, y'all gotta testify in order not to go to prison, I think by not doing that, I think you leave the door open for this to just be a situation where these individuals are just freaky, where these individuals just like to have group sex. They like to watch each other have group sex. I think you leave that avenue open. I think the prosecution messed up. I think the prosecution made a misstep. I think the prosecution hurt themselves by not initially having them as co-conspirators. No. This is not the last day. This might be the last. I think the prosecution got one more day, and then the defense goes. And so I was talking with somebody also, and they were like, defense is only going to be on, they're only going to call people for 1 or 2 days. They're only going to call 1 or 2 days. And I was trying to explain, if you're the defense counsel, you don't want to have a week of you calling people. You only want to call a couple of people. Because the longer you have where you're putting on your defense of your witness, your defense of your client for 7, 8 days, that makes it look like your client's guilty. You got to try real hard to prove something or other. You understand what I'm saying? But if you sincerely believe your client to be innocent, or if your client is sincerely innocent, you should only have to bring 1 or 2 people up on the stand, because you have a cross-examination. During the cross-examination, you're putting on your case. He's here with somebody, but he also looks like somebody that I know. And I don't know if he looks like the person or if he is the person. But he hasn't came up and said what's up to me, so he might just look like the person. Just so we could be clear. And he looks like somebody that I know, but or that I've been around, like, you know what I'm saying? In any regard. So you don't want to have a situation where the prosecution, where the defense is, you know, got to put your defense up for like a whole week. You want your defense to be able to call 1 or 2 people, because we've been doing cross-examinations. In the cross-examination, you should be putting on your case, because your case is these niggas lying. Your case is these people were wrong. That's your case. Just so we could be clear. That's your case. Right? Anyway, Rue Jones says, yeah, mainstream media only telling the redirect, never side, never the cross. Fam, you already know how we do over here. We don't go into court thinking anybody is innocent. We don't go into court thinking anybody is guilty. I'm just giving y'all the information that I'm finding out in court, and y'all could do with it what y'all want. Period. You already know how we give it up. All right? I was the other day, somebody was like, are you team Diddy or team who? I'm team BBN, nigga. I'm team Frost. What's up, fam? All right. You chilling? Yeah. You want to talk for a minute? Copy. Who we talking to?
King Sean.
All right. So what you think about the case?
Well, I mean, for me, I'm gonna speak for me from what I'm understanding. You know, I don't know all the ins and outs, but I mean, it almost sounds to me that we're persecuting a man for his bedroom business. That's how it sounds to me. But you know, so that's how I feel about it.
Okay. What do you think, and this is just a question, if by chance, because the prosecution is saying that crimes were committed, I'm not saying crimes were, would you say if they were committed that Cassie and Jane Doe should have been co-conspirators?
I would say that. I would have to highly agree with you. I feel like they were in cahoots with it if crimes were committed. So if crimes were committed, the same people that you have to testify against this man are the same people that did the crime with this man. So what happens?
Okay, that makes sense to me. Also, so they've been using, so there's been instances where both Cassie and both Jane Doe were flip-flopping, saying that they didn't want to be a part of the free calls, and then they'll go back and be like, we love the free calls, more free calls. What do you think about that?
Okay, well, I feel like this. I'm going to say this to you. For most women out there, I think when you have a man paying your bills, and you think about my bills being paid, I don't have to go in my pocket, because a lot of women don't like to spend their own money. So I think when you think and you look at it from that standpoint, then they're like, you know what, cheaper we just go do it because I need my bills to be paid, because we don't want to pay our bills. And that's how I feel.
So basically, women are hypergamous.
A lot of them are.
Okay.
And they might be mad at me, he hates women, this and that, but no, I don't. I love women. Women are the greatest things ever.
Other than God.
Ever, yeah, other than God. Other than God, I always says,
God and Jesus,
yes.
and women's.
Yeah, for real. So yeah.
All right, so they have these situations where they have these hotel fees and these plane fees that are being paid by Diddy's credit card, right?
Okay.
So how do you think the public should look at that in your perspective? Because they're saying that these particular situations that the government is accusing of being criminal acts, they're saying Diddy is paying for these situations. What do you think about that?
Now, I want to know, is it a crime to pay for those type of things off your credit card?
No?
Because if you ask me, there's a lot of OnlyFans girls out there that's wealthy and rich, and a lot of guys are paying to watch those off their credit card. Is that a crime? I'm just asking.
No,
I don't know. Is it a crime?
Make a good point.
So yeah, these are things we got to look at. Shout out to my friend Melvinique. Hey, yo, Melvinique, shout out to you.
Okay.
Salute.
So, okay. No, that makes perfectly good sense. That makes perfectly good sense. Anything that you wanted to say about this case specifically that you think that people should pay attention to or not pay attention to?
I think that we should not be worrying about the baby oils and all that crazy stuff. Let's get down to why they really have him here and what's the reason behind it. And let's figure that out.
So you believe that there's a reason why he's being persecuted Pardon me. You believe he's being persecuted, and you believe that there's a reason why he is being persecuted.
I'll say this. If he is found guilty of the crime, just like anyone, that's why you have a court of law to go to the front of.
That's a fact.
Anyone that's found guilty of the crime, when you have the facts and the evidence, that
Not emotion.
Yeah, not emotion. You got to take emotions out of it. We're not dealing with emotions. We're dealing with facts and evidence. If you have the facts and the evidence, then the court has to make that decision. Okay, what we're going to do with him. But if there's no facts, no evidence, free Diddy.
One last question.
Talk to me, my brother.
So they have.
Talk to me.
Hold on. So they have a situation where they have been proven that some of the messages that they're giving to their forensic people that's putting together all of these charts,
Okay.
that the prosecution is not giving them all of the text messages or all of the telephone calls that might actually exonerate Diddy and make it look like he's not either the head kingpin, or make it look like he's not even a person that wanted to do these things in the first place, that in some cases the women were the ones that was like, I want to do a freak off. What do you think about the prosecution kind of maybe hiding this from the jury?
Well, I'll say this. If I'm hiding something, what should that tell me? If I'm hiding something, I don't want it to be seen. I don't want it to be known, because if I'm hiding something on you, that could possibly make people look at it like, wow, well, it's not what you're making it out to be. So they're trying to get up all the bad parts to paint on this guy, and you're hiding the parts that you know that he might get off. So if you're going to present a case, bring everything to the table. Let's have an open field. Yeah. So bring everything to the table.
Thank you, Mr. King Sean.
Thank you, my brother.
Jack Ross.
Last Fly One, that's my Instagram. LASTFL. I don't know. No, King. I forgot it. Y'all have a great day. Take care. Peace.
Hold on, one of y'all was talking about something. What up, Media Band? He says, good to see you in the mix. Salute, salute. That's a fact. Diddy lawyer fighting, huh? This is what I'll say. So I'm not in the courtroom, I'm in the overflow room. So since I'm in the overflow room, there's just a lot that I don't see. That's why my notes are not as extensive as they usually are, because I don't only take notes about what's going on the stand. I also give y'all notes about what's going on in the jury box. I also give y'all notes about what's going on with the judge. I also give y'all notes about what's going on at the table for the defense. I also give y'all notes about what's going on at the table for the prosecution. I'm in the main room, I'm in the overflow room. So that's why my notes are streamlined for the part, and I can't give you all of the notes that I would like to give you. You only see one color. Generally, when I'm in the main room where everything is happening at, you'll see 4, 5, 6 different colors on my paper, because the different colors denote the different apparatuses of the government and how it's moving. And that allows for me to give y'all a better understanding of what actually I'm witnessing. Not what my perspective, but what I'm witnessing. So with that being said, that's just some people. You know what? I need to just start doing a tour thing where I just go stand at a place where there's a whole bunch of tourists and be like, yo, we doing a thing, and just have people follow me around and tell them any old thing after they pay me. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That would make a good television show, by the way. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So we just heard Homeboy talk. And for anybody that thinks that I'm just giving perspectives, what's up, my brother? For anybody that thinks that I'm just giving perspectives, these are I'm giving questions to the people that I'm interviewing, and questions that align with things that I believe them to be capable of giving their true insight in. So that's what I'm doing. If somebody stood in front of me that looked like they weren't necessarily, I'm giving them questions based on that. You understand what I'm saying? Like I said before, you can do whatever you want with the information. Whatever you want to do with it is what you do with it. That ain't got nothing to do with me. You feel me? I'm just here telling you about what's going on, your perspective, how you accept the information, what's going on with the information and everything else, that got to deal with you. Now, with that being said, we got to get ready to get back in the court. We got to get ready to get back in the court. I'm pretty sure, I've been out here 40 minutes, so I'm pretty sure they're back already. But I'll give y'all another update. And we're going to be here until Thursday. Of course, on Friday, as everybody know, I go work for my church on Fridays, so I can't be here. So whatever's happening on Fridays, we're not going to be able to see it. I go work for my church on Friday. It is what it is. We work for God over here, God first. But basically, they're going over a lot of the information that they went over previously that involves the freak-offs, the money, how the money was transacted, who was getting paid where. And dude brought up a great point, and that's why I keep trying to explain to y'all. Women are hypergamous. I'm not even mad at that, just so we can be clear. I believe that that's just, you know, why would a woman want to be with a man that can't provide? So women go with who could provide for them. You understand? It just is what it is. Think about it like this. All of the women that's always complaining about niggas, all of the women that's always complaining about dudes, it primarily be the dudes that can't provide. So you chose that guy, stop complaining about him. You knew he couldn't provide before you got with him, stop complaining about him. I'm just saying, leave that man be. You ain't going nowhere. You love that dude. Y'all gonna stay together. Stop complaining. Help him out. Help him figure it out. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if he's just somebody that just want to live off of you, you chose him. You chose him. Just like if it's a guy and he's with some woman that she's hard to deal with. You chose her, okay? You could have chose a woman that was easier to deal with. You chose her. Let's stop complaining about the people that we choosing, okay? Nobody forcing anybody to be with anybody. Stop complaining about the people you choosing. Y'all choosing these people. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with women wanting to be with somebody that if they have a kid by them, be able to provide for their child. I think that if women thought like that more, a lot of these dudes would never have sex out here. I'm just saying what it is. I think if women chose, like I thought the homegirl with the olive was supposed to, she stopped walking. She got like this bob on, she was in the courtroom. Anyway, I'm way off mark, it sounds like, but I'm not. What I'm explaining is why these women would be willing to do these things that Diddy want them to do. The number one thing that Jane Doe was saying is that being with Diddy provided the home that she wanted for her son. The ability to be able to feed them. The ability to be able to house them. That's what these women are talking about. That's why these women are doing some of these things. Because it's giving them the ability to be able to house their children. It's giving them the ability to be able to have a home to live in. So you shouldn't expect. So I don't want us to look down on anybody. Now, I don't agree with selling your body at all in any fashion, just so we can be clear. But I'm also not going to judge them. We're not doing that. If this is how they felt, if these are the things that they felt they needed to do, that's between them, the people that they did these things with, and God, unless it becomes a crime. Now the courts is involved. And that's just the way that it is. And I think that that's the perspective that we need to start taking. Because a lot of times, people are looking at individuals that's in desperate situations, doing desperate things, and then y'all shitting on them, and y'all treating them terribly. But these people were in desperate situations, doing desperate things. I'm not saying that that's Cassie's situation. I'm not saying that that's Jay Doe's situation. But I think that when we're looking at people in the world, we got to understand that sometimes, I think that sometimes we got to understand that people find themselves in situations that they don't know what to do next. They don't have the guidance. They might not have the support system. They might not have the know-how. And I think that we need to open our hearts a little to some of these people. And we need to be a little bit more mindful to some of these people that we've all also made bad decisions in life. I've made some decisions that, I wish I could take back. And I'm pretty sure every single human being alive has. So let's be a little bit fair to these individuals. And let's not just be dicks. And let's not just be jerks. And let's not just laugh at them. We shouldn't be laughing at people, We should have care. God says use kind words. We should have care. That's all I'm saying. With that being said, I'm going to get back in the courtroom. I'm pretty sure they're ready by now. Everybody, please, have a blessed day. Go out there in the world, do something worth doing. Stamp God's name on it. Let people know that you come in the name of the Most High. I'm out.